In the future, in space, in the future of space, there is a planet of talking dogs. And the female dogs looked at the male dogs and said, "We female dogs are tired of you male dogs and your indiscriminate butt sniffing and humping everything that moves and everything that doesn't. And that weird butt drag across the carpet thing that you do, what is that?" So the female dogs rounded up all the male dogs and shot them into space. And from then on, there were no male dogs in the Talking Dog planet. It was only a planet of female dogs, and this newfound utopia was henceforth christened Bitch Planet. Maybe that's what this book is about. Or maybe it's an allegory for social media? I don't know. I know nothing about this book. I have heard of it in the sense that I am aware that a book called Bitch Planet exists, but that's it. So, time to remedy that. It's not a sci-fi adventure about a planet of talking dogs. That makes me sad. I think it's a missed opportunity. But what it is actually very good. Bitch Planet is kind of a cross between a 70s women in prison exploitation film and Hunger Games. Yeah. So, in the future, I guess, in the world that this comic creates, patriarchy has been taken to its most obvious and horrifying extreme. So, any woman who is non-compliant goes off to Bitch Planet, which is essentially a women's prison. No, that's exactly what it is. It is a women's prison, an entire planet. One criticism, at least in the first 5 or 6 issues that I read, there's really no sense that this is an entire planet. It feels like one small contained facility. There's no real sense of size or scope or scale. They're not like just dropped off on the planet and say, "Hey, have fun." They're actually in a prison. So I'm not sure if it's like just a prison facility on this planet, or if there's several facilities, or the facility is as large as the planet. That's a nitpick. That doesn't really matter. It's just something I'm wondering. So, what counts as non-compliant in this world? Well, anything that they consider disagreeable. So, not being attractive enough is enough to get you sent to Bitch Planet. Having Down syndrome will get you sent off to Bitch Planet. Did you have a child that you really didn't want? Or a child with some sort of genetic defect or anomaly? Off to Bitch Planet. You can also go to Bitch Planet for... Did I already say for not being attractive or conforming to whatever the beauty standards are? Not being attractive enough, not being thin enough. Off you go to Bitch Planet. You go to Bitch Planet if for marital infidelity. You go to Bitch Planet if your husband cheats on you. Because that's your fault, you see. He wouldn't cheat on you unless you were doing something wrong. Right? So that's the world that this comic book presents. So our characters get to Bitch Planet, which is actually called the Auxiliary Compliance Outpost or something, but everyone just refers to it as Bitch Planet. So, they're trying to fund Bitch Planet, so they need money, so they need to up television viewer engagement, right? So their plan is to do kind of a battle royale, Hunger Games, American Gladiator type contest, the women of the prison versus someone else. So the story is the characters in the prison banding together and trying to fight against the system that they find themselves in while working within the system that they find themselves in. And that is really an interesting concept that's certainly allegorical to a lot of things that, well, some people find themselves in. Being a straight white male, I have all the privilege in the world except, you know, maybe wealth. So I don't experience any of this crap, but I do know that other people have to work with the idea that, should I stand by my principles and say, absolutely not, I will not bend, I will not compromise, because this is bullpucky, it's crap. With realizing that you're also working with reality here. So maybe you have to compromise things in order to move forward anyway. You may not like where you are, but you are where you are, and you have to work with what you've got to get to where you want to go. So, some really interesting things in this book. Also, the characters are fun, the art is nice, and the characters stay on model, which is always a good thing. There are a lot of characters, and the first several issues that I read is a bit more concerned with world building than actual character, although there are characters and there are cool characters, like I think her name is Kogo. She seems to be the lead person who's going to put the team together, and then you have, I think her name is Penny, who is the giant of the group. I mean, she's like, not Hulk, Kingpin. She's like 7 foot tall and this wide, and she will just pick you up and throw you a mile. I mean, she's huge. So those are the two main characters. There's a bunch of other characters, but they're not as fully fleshed out, at least not yet. As I said, the comic seems to be a bit more concerned with world building in its early stages than it is with actually really rounding out the individual characters, save for Penny and Kogo, I think their names are. And don't hold me to that because I'm absolutely junk with names. So, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought the satire and allegory was on point and thought-provoking. Even if you don't look at it from that perspective, it's a fun sci-fi, fun high-concept sci-fi adventure. You know, a women in prison exploitation movie on a different planet where they have to battle each other for their freedom, because if they win the competition, they get to go home. But the prison system is working against them and constantly cheats. The rules of the game are no 2-on-1 fights, so of course they get tackled 2-on-1. No weapons, so of course they start beating them over the head with their plastic masks. And then they're like, this is wrong, that's against the rules, and they're like, eh. So, it's a fun story. I really enjoyed it. I would very much like to read more, but I can't say this is an immediate must-buy the whole thing for me. It's close. It's damn close to a must-buy for me, but at least for the first 5 or 6 issues or whatever I read, not quite tipping over into, oh my gosh, I have to buy the whole thing. But I definitely do want to read more. So, that's Bitch Planet, and this is day 29 of 30 Days of Netflix. Whoops! 30 days of comics, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so tired. Okay, so 29 days of comics. Tomorrow's the last day. Yeah. Yep. One more. See you tomorrow.